The Galactic Coalition vessel materialized near Earth's orbit in a flash of blue light. It was massive, nearly 3 kilometers long, with strange, crystalline protrusions along its hull. Smaller escort ships followed, taking defensive positions around the mothership. In the UN Security Council chamber, diplomats and military officers watched the live feed with a mixture of awe and trepidation. This moment had been anticipated for generations, first contact with an alien civilization. "They're hailing us on all frequencies," announced General Kong, his normally stoic face betraying a hint of emotion. Director Park stepped forward. At 53, she had led Earth's diplomatic corps for a decade, but nothing had prepared her for this moment. "Open the channel," she ordered. The screen flickered to life, revealing a being with iridescent scales and 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern across its face. Its mouth moved strangely as it spoke, the translation software converting its speech to English with only a slight delay. "I am Ambassador Tay of the Arisian Dominance, senior representative of the Galactic Coalition. We come to formally acknowledge the existence of your species and extend an invitation to join our interstellar community." The next 12 hours were a whirlwind of activity. Landing sites were prepared, security protocols implemented, and world leaders briefed. By evening, a delegation of 7 alien representatives had descended to Earth in a shuttle that moved with impossible grace. The formal meeting took place at a hastily prepared reception area in Geneva. Ambassador Tay was accompanied by representatives from 6 other species, each more bizarre than the last. One appeared to be made of flowing liquid contained in a transparent exoskeleton. Another moved on dozens of thin appendages, its body covered in what looked like electronic components. "We have been observing your civilization for some time," Ambassador Tay began, his translator producing perfect English. "Your development has been interesting, if somewhat slow. Most species achieve space travel much earlier in their evolution. We've made remarkable progress in the past century," Director Park responded diplomatically. The alien made a sound that might have been laughter. "You still use chemical propulsion for most of your vehicles. How quaint." As the meeting progressed, the aliens displayed increasingly obvious condescension. They spoke of Earth's primitive technology, inefficient social structures, and wasteful resource management. Each comment was delivered with the air of a parent gently correcting a child. During a tour of Earth's most advanced research facility, the alien called Du, a 6-limbed being with translucent skin, picked up a quantum processor and examined it like a curious artifact. "This is actually quite ingenious," Du said, "considering your limitations. With proper guidance, your species might produce useful contributions to coalition science in a few centuries." Director Park maintained her composure, but Colonel Min quietly excused himself from the room. In a secure communications center 2 floors below, he activated a quantum encrypted channel. "This is Colonel Min. The Visitors Match Assessment Protocol Theta. Execute Nebula Contingency." On the other side of the planet, deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Commander Lee received the message. Without a word, she placed her palm on a biometric scanner, unlocking a series of commands that would activate sleep cells across 200 hidden human colonies. Back at the reception, Ambassador Tay presented Director Park with an official document. "The Coalition extends protectorate status to Earth," he announced grandly. "Under our guidance, your species will avoid many common developmental mistakes. Our ships will establish a permanent presence in your system to oversee your progress and ensure your protection." "And if we decline this generous offer?" Director Park asked carefully. Ambassador Tay's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "It would be regrettable. The dangers of space are many, and unaffiliated worlds often suffer unfortunate accidents. Besides, your technology cannot possibly defend against even our smallest vessels." Later that night, as the alien delegation returned to their orbiting ships, Director Park met with Earth's Security Council in a room swept clean of all surveillance devices. "They see us as primitives," she said. "Potential servants at best, obstacles at worst." General Kong nodded grimly. "But Protocol Nebula is active. Shadow Fleet has been notified." "How long until they're ready?" asked the Secretary General. 36 hours, Director Park replied. "Until then, we smile, we nod, and we play the part of the grateful primitives. Outside, the alien mothership glowed against the night sky, its lights visible to billions of humans gazing upward. None of them realized that across the galaxy, humanity's true power was awakening from its long slumber, preparing to reveal that the supposed primitives already ruled the stars. 60 years earlier, in the underground facility beneath Mount Hala, Dr. Kim stared at the equations floating in the holographic display. His hands trembled as he realized what they meant. "This can't be right," he whispered, but the numbers didn't lie. He had found the quantum displacement principle, the key to faster-than-light travel. 3 days later, as he prepared to publish his findings, a strange signal was detected by Earth's deep space array. It was artificial and definitely not human. The transmission contained complex mathematical sequences coming from somewhere near Proxima Centauri. Within hours, Dr. Kim was brought to a secret meeting with world leaders. His discovery and the alien signal changed everything. "If we announce this breakthrough, we alert them to our capabilities," said Defense Secretary Yoon. "We need time." That day, humanity made its most important decision, to expand silently among the stars while maintaining the appearance of a planet-bound civilization. The Shadow Fleet program was born. Now, Commander June stood on the observation deck of Outpost Twilight, hidden in the Kuiper Belt. At 42, he had spent most of his adult life away from Earth, overseeing humanity's greatest secret. "Status report," he ordered as his second-in-command entered. "The Coalition vessels remain in Earth orbit," Major Gill replied. "Their scans haven't detected anything beyond our decoy satellites. They have no idea we're watching them." June nodded and turned back to the massive display showing the true extent of human expansion. More than 200 colonies spread across 3 spiral arms of the galaxy, each carefully hidden from alien detection. Mining operations in uninhabited systems provided resources. Advanced fabrication centers built ever more ships. All invisible to the Coalition. "Has Earth activated the beacon yet?" he asked. "Not yet, sir. Director Park is still negotiating with the aliens." June frowned. He understood the diplomatic dance, but he didn't like his people being talked down to by creatures who thought themselves superior. He had read the reports of the Coalition's arrogance. "Show me our nearest assets to Coalition homeworlds," he ordered. The display shifted. Dozens of stealth platforms orbited each major alien planet, having done so for years. Human observers had learned their languages, studied their cultures, and mapped their defenses. Knowledge was power, and humanity had been gathering it silently for decades. In his private quarters later that day, June spoke with his family via quantum entanglement communication, instantaneous regardless of distance. His daughter Bo showed him her latest school project. His wife Min told him about their garden on Harmony Colony, 27 light-years from Earth. "The Coalition representatives visited Bo's school today," Min said quietly. "They talked to the children about how fortunate Earth was to be discovered by them." June's jaw tightened. "How did Bo handle it?" Min smiled. "She played her part perfectly. Asked wide-eyed questions about their technology like she'd never seen anything advanced." "That's my girl," June said with pride. After the call ended, he returned to the command center. A junior officer approached with a tablet. "Sir, we've intercepted communications from the Coalition fleet. They're planning a demonstration on the Mars settlement." June's face darkened. "They're going to attack civilians to intimidate Earth." "Yes, sir. It appears so. Alert our strike teams but maintain stealth protocol. Don't intervene unless absolutely necessary." Across the solar system, hidden human vessels watched as Coalition ships positioned themselves for their show of force. The aliens had no idea that for every one of their ships, 5 human vessels tracked their movements, weapons locked but waiting. In the hidden command center beneath the lunar surface, Admiral Jean reviewed the readiness reports. 3,000 capital ships and 10,000 smaller vessels stood ready across human space. Manufacturing centers on distant worlds had been producing advanced weapons for half a century. "The Coalition laughs at our chemical rockets," she told her staff, "while our matter conversion drives could outrun their fastest ships." On Earth, Director Park continued to play the role of the humble representative of a primitive species. The Coalition ambassadors smugly explained how Earth would benefit from their guidance, never suspecting that humans already controlled more territory than the entire Coalition combined. As night fell over Seoul, a young child looked up at the alien ships visible in the evening sky. "Are they really more advanced than us?" she asked her father. The man, an engineer who had helped build the first human FTL drive 30 years earlier, smiled secretly. "Things aren't always what they seem," he said quietly. Far beyond the solar system, human colonies thrived in perfect secrecy. Cities built inside hollowed-out asteroids. Massive habitats floating in the atmospheres of gas giants. Underground complexes on worlds the Coalition had dismissed as uninhabitable. All waiting for the signal to reveal humanity's true strength. The small human settlement on Mars called New Hope housed only 800 people. They lived in simple domes and tunnels, growing food in hydroponic gardens and conducting climate research. When the Coalition ships appeared above them, they had no warning. "This is Sub-Commander Han of the Galactic Coalition," came the transmission to all frequencies. "What you are about to witness is a demonstration of power. Your Earth leaders must understand the consequences of defiance." In the settlement's control center, Administrator Jean frantically tried to contact Earth. "This is New Hope calling Earth Defense. Coalition vessels are threatening us. We need immediate." The first energy beam struck the main power generator. The second hit the communications array. Within minutes, 3 more beams destroyed the water reclamation facility, the central dome, and the emergency shelter. From orbit, Sub-Commander Han watched with satisfaction as the settlement systems failed one by one. The humans would not die, that would be too obvious an act of war, but they would suffer enough to send a message. "Demonstration complete," he reported to Ambassador Tay. "The Earth representatives should be more cooperative now." In Geneva, Director Park received news of the attack during negotiations. Her face remained calm even as rage burned inside her. Across the table, Ambassador Tay watched her with all 4 eyes, studying her reaction. "A regrettable accident has occurred at your Mars settlement," the alien said smoothly. "Power failures in such harsh environments can be deadly. This is why Coalition protection is so valuable." "Are you threatening us?" Park asked quietly. "Not at all. I am merely pointing out the dangers that primitive colonies face without proper oversight." Tay slid a document across the table. "These new terms grant Coalition forces access to your system's resources. Your people will be allowed to continue your activities under our guidance." The document was nothing less than a demand for surrender. The Coalition wanted Earth's water, minerals, and biological diversity. They wanted human labor for their projects. They wanted Earth as just another conquered world in their collection. Director Park stared at the document. "I need time to consult with our leaders." Ambassador Tay made a gesture that might have been a shrug. "Of course. But remember the lesson of Mars. The universe is dangerous for those who stand alone." After the meeting, Park entered a secure room deep below the UN building. "They're showing their true face now," she told the assembled world leaders. "This is what they've done to dozens of other species." On the display screen, intelligence gathered by human stealth ships showed the truth of the Coalition. On planet after planet, protected species lived as little more than slaves. Their resources stripped, their people working in Coalition mines and factories, their cultures slowly erased. "Our observers have documented 27 species subjugated by the Coalition," reported Intelligence Director Choi. "Their method is always the same: offer protection, demonstrate power, demand surrender." "And if the species refuses?" asked the Canadian Prime Minister. Director Choi's face darkened. "Total subjugation through force. The Tellarites resisted 3 years ago. Now they're extinct." Back at the Mars settlement, the surviving colonists struggled to repair their life support systems. Coalition ships hovered above them, occasionally firing warning shots when the repairs progressed too quickly. "They want us suffering but alive," said Chief Engineer Song as she worked to restore power. "Dead martyrs unite people. Suffering ones terrify them." Unknown to the Coalition, every word they spoke, every action they took, was being recorded by hidden human systems. The Shadow Fleet maintained its stealth, gathering evidence of Coalition cruelty while preparing for the moment to strike. In orbit around Earth, Admiral Sun of the Arisian Fleet discussed strategy with his fellow commanders. The humans will surrender within days, he predicted confidently. They have no choice. Their technology is primitive, agreed Commander Rin of the Varel Confederation. Their weapons could not damage even our smallest vessels. What about the rumors of hidden human capabilities? Asked a junior officer. Admiral Sun laughed, a harsh sound like stones grinding together. Primitive species always have myths about secret powers. The humans have nothing we haven't seen before. 5 days later, Director Park signed the Treaty of Surrender in a public ceremony. Earth formally accepted protectorate status under the Coalition. Ambassador Tay made a speech about the bright future awaiting humanity under Coalition guidance. That night, Coalition ships began landing at designated points around Earth. Their crews disembarked, confident in their dominance, unaware they were being watched by hidden cameras and sensors. In his private quarters, Ambassador Tay contacted the Coalition Council. Earth has surrendered as expected. Begin moving settlement ships and resource extraction equipment. Another primitive species knows its place. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Director Park entered the true command center of Earth's defenses. They've taken the bait, she told her staff. Send the signal. Across the galaxy, hidden human outposts received the activation code. The time had come to spring the trap that had been 60 years in the making. Coalition ships spread throughout the solar system, claiming key positions with arrogant confidence. Admiral Sun directed his vessels to establish bases on Earth's moon, Mars, and several resource-rich asteroids. His sensors showed nothing but primitive human satellites and a few chemical-propelled spacecraft that posed no threat. Begin resource assessment of the asteroid belt, he ordered. I want mining operations to start within 3 days. The communications officer nodded, then frowned at his console. Admiral, I'm detecting anomalies in Sector 4. What kind of anomalies? I'm not sure. There's a fluctuation in the background radiation. It might be a sensor malfunction. Admiral Sun dismissed the concern with a wave of his hand. Run a diagnostic. These primitive systems probably can't handle our equipment's power demands. But the anomalies didn't disappear. Instead, they multiplied. Small distortions appeared on scanners throughout the system. At first, they seemed like random glitches until they began moving with clear purpose. Sir, the sensor operator called out, her voice rising with alarm, I'm detecting energy signatures everywhere. As if emerging from invisible cocoons, human vessels suddenly appeared throughout the solar system. Not dozens, but thousands. They materialized around every coalition ship, their sleek hulls gleaming in the starlight. These were no primitive chemical rockets, they were advanced warships with weapons already locked on coalition vessels. On the bridge of the flagship, Admiral Sun stared in disbelief at the tactical display. His fleet of 200 ships was now surrounded by over 4,000 human vessels of various sizes, all clearly military in design. Impossible, he whispered. The main communication screen activated, showing a human female in a dark uniform with silver insignia. Her expression was calm but resolute. This is Admiral G of the Earth Defense Force, she announced. Your vessels are now targeted by our weapons systems. Make no aggressive moves. Admiral Sun found his voice. What trickery is this? Earth has no such fleet. Admiral G smiled slightly. No trickery, Admiral Sunday, merely a revelation of truth. Your scanners should now be detecting additional human presences throughout coalition space. With a gesture, she changed the display to show a galactic map. Blue dots of light, thousands of them, appeared around every major coalition world. Many more showed in supposedly empty regions of space. For 60 years, we have expanded silently through the galaxy, Admiral G explained. When we detected your transmissions, we chose caution over announcement. While you saw primitive chemical rockets, our quantum displacement drives took us to the stars. On his own tactical display, Admiral Sun watched in horror as reports flooded in from Coalition worlds. Human stealth ships decloaking in orbit. Hidden bases revealing themselves on moons and asteroids. Even Coalition military communications were being intercepted and broadcast openly. Your attack on our Mars settlement was recorded in full, Admiral G continued. As were your plans for Earth's resources and people. We have been watching you for decades, documenting how you treat protected species. Did you really believe we would allow the same fate for Earth? In the Coalition Council chamber, representatives from 12 species watched in stunned silence as their secure communication network was overridden. On every screen, evidence of their atrocities against other worlds played alongside footage of human ships appearing throughout their territory. Ambassador Tay, who had been preparing to announce Earth's successful subjugation, felt his scales pale as the scope of human deception became clear. The primitives had outplayed them completely. Back on Earth, Director Park stepped onto the balcony of the UN building. Below her, Coalition soldiers who had been strutting confidently minutes before now stood frozen as human defense forces emerged from hidden bunkers and surrounded them. No shots unless fired upon, she ordered over her secure communicator. Let them surrender with dignity. In space, Coalition ships found themselves trapped. Their engines mysteriously disabled by technologies they didn't understand. Their weapons systems locked by override codes they never knew existed. Human vessels maintained perfect formation around them, offering no escape. Admiral G opened a channel to every Coalition ship simultaneously. You came to our world believing us helpless and primitive. You planned to take our resources and subjugate our people. Now you understand your mistake. She paused, letting the message sink in. Earth leads an alliance of 217 colonies across 34 star systems. We have observed your coalition for decades. We know your strengths, your weaknesses, and your crimes against other species. In his command chair, Admiral Sun slumped in defeat. The humans had not only matched coalition technology, they had surpassed it. While his people had laughed at Earth's apparent primitive state, humans had been studying them, learning their weaknesses, and building an empire right under their noses. What happens now? He asked, his voice barely a whisper. Admiral G's expression remained firm but not cruel. Now, Admiral Sun, you learn what real civilization looks like. The Galactic Assembly Hall floated in neutral space, halfway between Earth and the former Coalition capital. Built in just 30 days by human construction ships, the massive structure could hold representatives from 50 different species. Today, delegates from 23 worlds gathered for the first meeting of the new Galactic Council. Director Park stood at the central podium, now serving as Earth's ambassador to the stars. Around her sat beings from across the galaxy, some former Coalition members, others newly liberated species, and representatives from distant worlds that had allied with humanity in secret. 6 months ago, the Coalition ruled through fear and exploitation, Park began. Today, we begin a new chapter in galactic history. On the viewing screens, footage played showing human ships delivering medical supplies to worlds the Coalition had stripped of resources. Other images showed joint human-alien teams dismantling forced labor camps and restoring native ecosystems damaged by Coalition mining. The delegate from Nalera, a world that had suffered under Coalition rule for 3 centuries, stood to speak. Her people resembled tall, slender humanoids with iridescent skin. For generations, my people were told we were lesser beings, she said, her translator converting her musical language to standard speech. We mined our own planet for the Coalition until our rivers ran toxic and our children grew sick. When humans found us, they did not conquer, they healed. Similar stories came from other delegates. The Coalition had ruled through a simple strategy: convince each species they were alone and powerless, then take what they wanted. Humanity had broken that cycle by sharing technology, resources, and most importantly, the truth. In a secure facility on Earth's moon, former Ambassador Tay sat in a transparent cell. He was prisoner number 847 now, stripped of his rank and honors. Through his window, he could see the massive quantum gateway being constructed in orbit, a joint project between humans and 7 alien species. I still don't understand, he told his human guard. How did you hide so much from us for so long? Guard Shin, a young woman from Seoul, looked up from her book. When we found out we weren't alone, we had a choice: announce ourselves or watch and learn. Our ancestors chose wisely. Tae's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, his species' gesture of frustration. But the resources needed, the coordination required, impossible. Shin smiled. That's exactly what your people thought. Your arrogance made our deception easy. You saw what you expected to see, a primitive species barely able to reach its own moon. Back at the assembly hall, the council voted on its first major resolution, the Liberation Protocol. Under this agreement, all species would retain sovereign control of their home systems. Resource sharing would be voluntary, technology exchange beneficial to all parties. Most importantly, no species would dominate another. Director Park watched the unanimous vote with satisfaction. Humanity could have replaced the coalition as the galaxy's new overlords. Instead, they chose to build something better. In her private office after the session, Park spoke with Admiral G via quantum communication. The Araxians are still causing problems in the outer systems, G reported. They can't accept that their dominance is over. Park nodded. Old empires die hard. But most of the coalition species have accepted the new reality. And the trial of the coalition high command? Scheduled for next month. The evidence our observers gathered over 60 years leaves no room for denial. On a distant planet that humans called Haven, Commander June watched children playing in a park. Some were human colonists, others belonged to the planet's native species, beings with 4 arms and skin that changed color with their emotions. Before humanity arrived, the coalition had taken hundreds of these people for biological experiments. They play well together, noted his alien counterpart, Chief Morrow. June nodded. Children don't care about differences unless they're taught to. My ancestors would be amazed to see this. When the coalition came, we thought our end had come. When humans arrived after them, we feared you were just another conqueror. We learned from Earth's history, June explained. Conquest brings nothing but suffering. Partnership brings strength. In deep space, human exploration vessels continue to push beyond known territory, now accompanied by scientists from former coalition worlds. With quantum displacement drives, they could reach previously unimaginable distances. On Earth, schools taught children about their place in the galaxy, not as conquerors or victims, but as architects of a new order based on mutual respect. In his cell, prisoner 847, formerly Ambassador Tae, watched through his window as the quantum gateway neared completion. When activated, it would create instant travel between Earth and the former coalition capital, linking the galaxy in ways his people had never imagined. He finally understood the greatest mistake his civilization had made. They had judged humanity by its visible technology, not by its vision. They had laughed at chemical rockets while humans quietly mastered the stars. They had seen primitives when they should have recognized equals, or perhaps, their betters. The humans had ruled the galaxy all along. They had simply waited for the right moment to reveal it.